Hey you guys, it's Brandy Chanel. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to your BMF Season 1 Episode 2 review. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, you guys, so this week's episode of BMF was not bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it wasn't bad. It still gave us a lot to talk about, okay? First off, the last episode ended with Terry getting shot. So this week's episode picks up with Meech going to the hospital. He walking up in the hospital with a gun, and I'm like, yo, what the are you doing? Your black ass cannot be walking up in this hospital with no damn with no firearm. Like, what's going on? But luckily Coach is there. I think Coach was there to kind of smooth things out or whatever, but still he shouldn't have been walking up in there. He's looking for Terry. So he finds Terry. Terry is talking. He's still alive, but he starts to kind of slip or whatever. You hear that little beep beep going or whatever. So they rush him off to surgery or whatnot. So the $50 crew, the 50 boys, I think is it the $50 crew or is it the 50 boys? I gotta check again. But they come up in there, and then his parents come in there, and his mom kind of blames Meech. And at this point, I think it's kind of unfair, because if we are raising children to make their decisions on their own, yes, Meech didn't set the best example for Terry. Terry probably saw his big brother doing something, and he decided, well, my brother doing it, I'm gonna have his back or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, he still made the decision. So I think it's kind of unfair that the mom and the dad keeps blaming Meech for Terry being in this situation, when this was his decision to do it too. And I hope more of that comes out when the season goes on. Okay, so Lamar is asking for a job from J-Mo. I think his name is J-Mo, right? So here's the thing, right? I think, and it became clear throughout the episode, that what Lamar is trying to do is he is trying to get in with this crew. He's trying to off them one by one some type of way, so therefore he can take over. And that is what became clear with Lamar as he's going through the episode, right? So Lamar is basically starting shit, right? Lamar is talking to Slick, and Slick, he's basically saying that that Meech is out looking for J-Mo because he thinks J-Mo offed his brother or whatever. So he's basically telling him that go spread the word. Okay, so the word is J-Mo potentially could have shot Terry, and Meech is out looking for him. So the whole plan is to get the word out, so therefore it can reach Meech, and then Meech can take care of him or whatever the case may be. So, and we see that happen. Okay, Meech confronts the student, all right? Yeah, so y'all know the man, I can't think of his name, I'm sorry. It was the guy Terry was beefing with at school. He confronts him and asks him, did you shoot my brother? He says, of course not. Now, that pretty much puts him out there, okay? We can cross him off the list of people that could have potentially killed Terry, okay? So at this point, it could have been between J-Mo or it could have been between Lamar. I'm thinking Lamar, so we'll keep it moving, especially since how he's moving in this show. I think it was Lamar, but let's keep it pushing. Okay, so I said Lamar is starting shit. He's spreading the word. We got damn Kato and B Mickey, I think that's the lady's son, the one who was complaining about them taking over the center. So that's her son, B Mickey and Kato. So they're at the new spot, right? They're at the new spot, and they there. So I think that's the spot Meech told them to go start doing stuff. I don't know these little street hood terms. What I mean, chopping up the dough. What is it? I don't know what it is. I don't really know how you say it. I guess, cook up the shit, chop up the dough, and, pack it up and get it ready to sell. I don't know. But they're working, okay? That's a new spot where they're going to start working and, getting their shit out, okay? I don't know these terminologies, okay? I am not from that place, okay? So don't judge me, okay? They chopping up the dough, okay? Y'all tell me what it is, okay? So they're there, they talking, and this place is not supposed to be occupied right now. It's supposed to be, no one's there, no one's living there. Kato sees food and she sees drinks, so it obviously looks like somebody has been there. So out of the blue, there's this homeless guy who comes there, and he kind of pushes Kato, and they both land on the floor and they're fighting, and a little bit of the dough, the drugs. Some of the dough and the drugs get on the floor, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to tell Meech. Of course, Meech walks in. He's pissed or whatever the case may be. And, that's that. Y'all do not judge me. Do not judge me. I don't know these lingo. Okay. Lamar visits his daughter Zoe. So this is the daughter he's supposed to have with Monique, okay? But Monique said that's not his child, okay? Here's what I think. Some of y'all females from the hood, like, what when y'all have a baby by a man, when y'all have a child and you're with the man, but that's not the child's father, like, why would y'all allow that child to get close to that man, knowing that he's not the best person? Like, she knew who Lamar was when she got with him. She knew he was no good. She knew, just like with Meech, she knew potentially, because of what he was doing out here in the streets, that he could possibly go to jail. So why would you have that little girl get close to him, okay? And on top of that, Lamar is not in the right state of mind. This motherfucker is outright fucking crazy, okay? The motherfucker crazy, okay? Why would you have him do that? That's like setting him up for failure, and that's setting him up to become crazier than he already is. And I would not be surprised throughout the season that either something happens to that child or something happens to Monique. So y'all hood girls, y'all want to be ride or die, and you end up with a man like Lamar. Like, girl, please, you better care about your life. So he's visiting the daughter. The daughter is freaking out because he's weird. He's acting real crazy. He's acting real obsessive. And I'm thinking it's because, I don't know, I would love to see what Lamar's background is with his family, because he seems so out there and out of it. I'm telling y'all, Lamar gonna be the reason why I stick to watching BMF, because his character is very interesting. I want to know his background, because if he's clinging on to this girl who that's not his, it lets me know that she's all he has. He has no mom. He probably has no dad, no siblings. She probably killed them all. I don't know. But I'm interested in knowing his background, and hopefully we, as the time goes on, the season goes on, I would like to know more of that. Okay, so this is Meech walking into the news spot, and B Mickey is telling Meech that J-Mo could have potentially shot Terry. And at first, Meech is kind of hesitant, like, I don't know, that don't even sound right, or whatever the case may be. But, I guess he has this reputation, as all drug dealers and during this time have this reputation. If somebody violated you, you go handle it. And he's kind of hesitant because he don't know if it's true or not. And, B Mickey, kind of pumping his head, like, you need to go handle this. Like, if somebody did that to my brother, like, this is what, and so, of course, he's being pressured. Of course, his not only is it looking like he's not taking up for his brother, but also his reputation of what his name is out here in these streets, that's on the line as well. So he's kind of struggling with that a little bit, right? So Monique confronts Lamar about visiting her daughter and saying that that's not his daughter. She thought he was in the hospital. And I'm like, girl, why you talk like, to me that is so dumb. Like, do y'all women do that? Do y'all women from the hood, y'all Moniques and Keishas, and I'm not judging nobody, but I just want to know, y'all girls who want to be ride or die, why do y'all do that? Like, if you gonna date somebody or be with somebody who's dangerous, why don't you just like not have no babies with him or not bring your children around him? Like, you're not really, and I guess this is a different time, different era, whatever the case may be. So, back in them days, dating the local drug dealer was the big thing, I guess, okay? But, like, don't have no babies by him, and if you do have a baby, don't bring your baby by him. Like, really, he should just come at night, do what y'all do, and then he should get up and leave the next morning before the baby wake up. That's what he should do. You should not be in no serious relationship with him when he's bringing the kids over, where he's having some relationship with your child. I think that's just a recipe for disaster. I think, why would you do that? And then you bringing another drug dealer around your daughter. Do your daughter know her daddy? Do your daughter know who her daddy is? That's the story I want to know, okay? I want to know who Zoe's daddy is and if he another drug dealer. 9 times out of 10, he probably is, okay? Let's see here. Y'all, excuse me. Okay. So, they talk, okay, so Meech is meeting with Famel to kind of smooth things over and to make a deal with him. I didn't really understand that scene, like to smooth things over. So I'm guessing from from episode 1, when they had their little thing or whatever, he's trying to, I guess, smooth things over. I'm not sure if he's just doing this to kind of get in good with them. And so when he gets ready to do what he does to J-Mo, they won't suspect it's him. That could be a reason why. But for whatever reason, he's, getting in cool with them, whatever the case may be. Lamar in the restaurant fucking the BBW. I was like, okay, I'm not mad at it. Well, I'm kind of mad at it because you're on a nasty ass floor in some little nasty diner. But the fact that he picked him a BBW, I ain't mad at it. They need love too. He just got out, so he don't have really many. He don't really have the room to be picky. You know what I'm saying? He just need to get what he get, right? So after he done, he go back and sit down. He was like, she was like, she got a big ass though. And I think Slick, he was like, well, she got a big everything else. I was like, you ain't had to say that. That wasn't funny. But they get to talking about Monique, and he was like, that tough shit with Monique ain't gonna work. You kind of have sweet talk or whatever the case may be. And then Lamar writes this letter. Now later on we're gonna find out what that letter is, but he writes a letter, and it's a whole lie, pretty much. Meech is at the hospital. Earlier Terry was trying to leave because he knew Meech was gonna be out here looking for revenge. So Terry was about to leave. He fainted. Turns out that he had an infection, and his vision may be compromised. And so the doctor comes in and tells the family, and the doctor comes in and tells the family, and at one point, I guess when Terry first got out of surgery, the first surgery, they was telling him that, his vision is going to be fine, but now they're saying it may be compromised. And Charles is basically saying, if it's messed up, I'm going to sue you. I don't know how I felt about that scene, because at one point, on one hand, I feel like he was genuinely concerned about his son. I mean, that's his son. He's the dad, so he was, genuinely concerned. But on the other hand, I'm like, wait a minute, are you trying to come into some money because times are hard? You know what I mean? Y'all do know from last week's episode, they haven't been paying the mortgage on their house or whatever, so they could potentially lose their house. But I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, I think I think both can exist at the same time. I think that because they're in such a tight spot, he's seeing an opportunity to sue them. But I also think he is worried about his son. So he just taking up the opportunity. But how he gonna pay for the lawyer? What kind of lawyer he gonna get? Okay. So so Charles goes and he's looking at the newborn babies. The mom, she goes after him, okay? And the conversation is basically he's wanting to kick Meech out because he feels like Meech influenced Terry to join the crew. He feels like if it wasn't for Meech, Terry wouldn't be in this situation, which I think is BS because Terry, is old enough to make his decisions. Now, could Meech have possibly influenced him? Yes, but still, he made the decision and he didn't have to because he's still in school. From what's been presented to us, he makes good grades. So, why would he make that decision? So, here's what I'm not liking about Charles' character. It seems like he takes no accountability for the part that he plays on the show. So y'all know last week with the whole, not paying the mortgage and all that, and all that shit, he kind of put the blame on his wife. Like, I go to work and I get the money to you. You're supposed to be handling it. But of course, when we don't have enough money tucked away, when we have unexpected issues that needs paying for, like our car breaking down, we need money for that. You know what I mean? And it's like and here's another situation where he's putting the blame on her. I told you when he first joined the game to kick him out, I told you to, it's always her fault. He never takes responsibility. It's like, why is all the burden put on her? And it's like, you're the only one. You go out to work and that's it. And I think he's using that as an excuse. Like, I go to work, you here all day, what you doing? No, sir, you're their dad too. You supposed to set the example. Why weren't you there for them boys and raising them and showing them right for wrong? Why is it your wife's responsibility to do that? And y'all love to say a woman can't teach a little boy how to be a man, but yet there's a man in the household and look how his sons turned out. And I feel like that mother, she is stressed the fuck out. She got one son in the hospital. She got one son in the streets. Well, technically she got two sons in the streets. She don't know where the fuck her daughter going. Her daughter ain't getting enough attention because she's so focused on the boys. And so I think it's unfair that, he's putting all of the burden on her and not taking any responsibility. Like, you're their dad. You had a hand in this. And on top of that, it's probably one of those situations where, he's the head of the household. He's the man of the household. So all he has to do is provide. Now we see that type of mentality and that way of thinking, that the man is only supposed to go out and provide and the woman is supposed to take care of the kids, the house and everything else. That doesn't work, because see how the kids is. You know what I'm saying? You the daddy, take some responsibility. Anyway, okay, so Lamar visits Monique, and he tells her the sob story, and he's basically trying to coerce her to bring the daughter around him. Monique, don't do it. That man is crazy. He really do need to I don't know what the fuck that man need to do. He need to go to one of them crazy houses, but of course this is during the time of Ronald Reagan, and he cleaned all the mental institutions out. So I don't know, but you don't need to bring your child around for him. He is dangerous. You know what he does. You know his reputation. Keep your goddamn daughter away from him. Meech picks up his sister. So I think I don't know what happened. I don't know if his sister got in trouble. I think I missed that part, but his sister got in trouble. And basically she's upset because they're taking all the attention. She's having to lie for them to the parents. And, she's not getting in the attention, and she's not going to be able to go on her trip. So they still doing all of that. Okay, so Meech and D Mickey. So they pick up J-Mo, and they're talking. I just mentioned earlier about the rumor that J-Mo could have possibly shot Terry, and so now they're taking care of it. And Meech is struggling because because J-Mo is saying, I did not shoot him, I did not shoot him, and he's looking at him, and I think he can see it in his eyes that I don't think he killed him. And so, and you know, then D Mickey, whatever, he shot him. And so it's like, this could potentially cause a war between the competition and the $50 boys, the 50 boys, whatever their name is. It can cause a war, basically. And I think that was Lamar's plan. So B Mickey could have, you know, he could have been fucked up on that, really. Okay, so Meech talked to his mom, and basically she gets an ultimatum. Either you get out these streets, you get out these gangs, or I'm gonna have to kick you out. He said, I guess I'm out then. I don't know, like, in this point, I don't know what she thought she was doing. Because you have a son here who's making money, who's living a lifestyle. He's wanting to provide for his sister. He's wanting to provide for his family. He got kids he needs to provide for. He has a reputation. He can't just quit. And I really felt like he was like, okay, instead of lying to her, I'm gonna tell her straight up, I'm not quitting. Okay, so I respect him for that, but now he's kicked out. Okay. Meech and Terry talk. It sounds to me like Terry was trying to convince him to get out the gang, or not to take revenge out on people because of the situation he's talking about. Lamar comes for Famil. They start fighting, and Lamar kills Famil. So, like I said, I feel like Lamar's plan is to take down the competition and take down the $50 boys or the 50 boys, whatever the fuck. And so he can start taking over their blocks, because that's what he was doing before he went to jail. But that was pretty much the episode, you guys. That is it. Let me know how y'all feel about this week's episode of BMF down in the comments. And shout out to Jamie, that's me, for sharing me on her community page. I really appreciate it. I'm glad some of these other YouTubers are, posting me and really appreciating the content. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. It has been a long day, y'all. And without further ado, toodles.